Yeah.
Trey Lance hasn't played in a year. He's not going to play in another year. Is that going to be how you develop him? That's the part that I get nervous about. So I understand the plan. I understand exactly what you're doing. Let Jimmy go out there. This roster is ready to compete. This fan base wants you to compete, especially after what happened last year coming off of 2019. Completely get that. Yeah. Is there a world where that does more damage to Trey Lance than it does help Trey Lance? And that's what gets me nervous, right? I almost want Trey to get in there, get his feet wet, start seeing the speed of the game, start having the growing pains so you can get through it. But this fan base wants to win. So I think it's the right plan to do the Jimmy Garoppolo thing. I just fear that the long-term effects might be worse. I don't think that this is likely. It's not likely. It's just a fear that I have in my head because I'm worried about everything.
And it's a super valid fear. You know, I think with the Tua Tagovailoa situation, I think that's what 49ers fans should be worried about more than anything is we get in a situation where Trey is starting and then Jimmy is back starting. To me, that is the least ideal scenario. And I think the best version of this season to me is Trey Lance is starting at some point, even if it's midseason, right? But then maybe he gets a playoff game or even two if we're really doing well under his belt. I think that would be the type of thing to where we could go into next season and say, oh, you know, Trey started 8 games for us. He started a playoff game, right? He went out and proved himself to where we have confidence in him and we can still trade Jimmy Garoppolo. That's the kind of thing where I think that's best case scenario just for this team overall. And with Trey and with Kyle for the next 3 years, if Trey is successful and he is, you know, not even one of the best in the league, but just, you know, worth where we picked him at, if he's that good, this team should be in the playoffs, if not all 3 years, 2 out of 3 years, and they should make a deep playoff run at least once, if not twice, to me.
For me, the only thing that can stop this team is injuries. That's it. You know, as long as the coach is there, as long as the people are in place, as long as the scheme is in place, like Kyle Juszczyk said on somebody's pod, the offense is Kyle.
Right.
The offense is Kyle.
Yeah, and I just want to hit on this last point with Trey and how the offense is going to look. The one thing to where I had a lot of criticism with him early on was he didn't throw the ball a lot. He didn't throw it a lot in games. He didn't have high rep games. But at the same time, when I started thinking about the 49ers, I'm like, how many times?
Sound like somebody you know?
Yeah. How many times is he going to be asked to throw the ball? It doesn't matter if he throws the ball 8 times in the NFC Championship game because guess what? It's not like Trey was doing a lot of throwing in college. So on the one hand, I get excited by that because you're not going to be asking Trey to do something he's totally uncomfortable with. And I brought this up at the beginning too. He really is going to be so well suited for a run-first offense. So, you know, that's where I get excited. But then on the other hand, like you're saying, could you be stunting his development if you're only throwing the ball 12 times a game and you don't let him get his feet wet, right? That's the one worry with that kind of thing.
It's funny how people view the same thing differently. Let me explain.
Yeah.
Jimmy Garoppolo throws 8 passes in the NFC Championship. The run game was working, though. That's not about them not trying to make Jimmy Garoppolo throw the ball. Trey Lance throws the ball 8 times. Oh, I don't know, man. They didn't let him throw. I'm worried about that. Is there something wrong? If it's 1 for one, it's 1 for the other, guys. Come on. Let's figure it out.
Well, and you're right, because like even me and people like Grant, I even know, like we all kind of had this realization once they drafted Trey that it's like, doesn't matter that he didn't throw that many times in college. He's not going to be asked to throw that many times in the NFL. And I think
win the damn game. That's all 49er fans seem to care about. They just throw win-loss record out there when they talk about quarterbacks. So, hey, win the damn game. And I'm with you on that, honestly. So it's just funny how things are viewed when people are pushing whatever narrative they want to push. He only threw the ball 8 times in the NFC Championship because they couldn't stop it. But they couldn't stop the run at NDSU. But you want to ding Trey Lance for that. Can't have it both ways. Can't have